Welcome back to Movement Link. So I want to take a little bit and talk about a topic that comes up so much in the gym. And it usually happens with people when they're about a year to 2 years into their training. And what people start talking about, and the comment I hear so much is, I need to eat more. Okay, so let's break this down. And first, let's just kind of take the perspective of where this comes from. So in the sports of strongman, powerlifting, sometimes Olympic weightlifting, and sometimes even CrossFit, less CrossFit though, we see at the world-class level, the advice is you need to eat more. So the few things going on at that world-class level, especially, I should have thrown bodybuilders in there too, is they're trying to grow muscle maximally. So just to put it in context here, on this channel, we talk about the balance of what we call path results, the balance of performance, aesthetics, tissue and joint health, and overall health and wellness. So when we're talking about world-class bodybuilders, we're talking about the only thing that they care about is aesthetics. When we're talking about world-class strongman, CrossFitters, powerlifters, it's performance. This is it. This is the only thing they care about. So yes, they have to look at these things to a certain degree, but for the most part, they are over prioritizing areas, which is completely fine. You get to choose to do whatever you want to do. But on this channel, we're all about balancing this out. And going for that balance. So what happens in the gym is we have these people that are new to working out, and they're looking up articles and they're seeing videos of people talk about that if you want to grow muscle, you've got to eat. So let's just put ourselves in the day of one of these giant bodybuilders, powerlifters, strongmen. I've heard so many people get interviewed, and it is incredible. They all talk about how hard eating is, and it's because they eat so incredibly much. What they do is they eat usually about every 2 to 3 hours, and they even will wake up in the middle of the night to eat. It is crazy the amount of food that they're putting in their bodies. So the thing that we got to keep in mind here is that that's going to be the maximal way to grow the maximal amount of muscle, but we want to live healthy, long lives, and this is just not a healthy way to live. You have to give your digestive tract time to rest. That's why we highly recommend these eating windows and a little bit of fasting here and there. And we have to be able to manage the amount of calories and intakes. So what they're doing is, if their body needs this much, this is going to be the dumbest graph I've ever drawn probably. I tend to do that when I get a marker in my hand. But if their body needs this much protein and maybe glucose to restore muscle energy, what they're doing is they're trying to keep this much on tap. So at any moment, their body has what it needs, and they're just eating constantly. Something that happens is your body can only absorb a certain amount of nutrients within kind of certain windows. So if, let's say it's a pretty common thing we hear in the science community, it's about 45 grams of protein from one meal. So that means if you try and eat 60, 80 grams of protein in a meal, only 45 of that is actually getting absorbed, and the rest is just kind of passing through. So what these people do is they spread it out, and so they can absorb and absorb and absorb and absorb and absorb. This is their life, it's their career, they're professionals. A lot of them are also using performance enhancing drugs. So this is what they've got to do to be who they've got to be. And again, if that fits what you're looking to do, then it's an extremely effective method. But if we're trying to balance these things, that it comes with a lot of inflammation, especially when your sleep is disrupted as much as it is, and then the overall health and wellness aspect of it is at a detriment. So if we're trying to balance these things and we're trying to grow muscle, what do we need to do? We just need to make sure we're getting adequate amounts of food. So it is hard if we're trying to lose weight. Then we want to really pay attention to how much protein we're getting in each of our meals. And you can't just get all your protein in on one meal. So it's not a daily thing, it's a per meal thing. And then we're looking at how much you're getting in throughout the day. So we do want to take those things to account, but we don't need to take it to these extremes. You can do amazingly well for yourself balancing these things out. And the main recommendation here is just eat real food, mostly plants, not too much. It's fine to have meat, eggs, fish, these things in there. Red meat is probably one of the most healthy, as long as you're getting good, healthy cuts of red meat. Maybe one of the most nutrient dense things with vitamins and minerals that you can eat. So we just want to be sure we're doing everything in our lifestyle that promotes all of these things. But the main point I wanted to get across in this video is that you do not need to mimic what these world-class powerlifters do. It comes along with so many health problems. If you want to gain muscle and build muscle along the way, make sure you're eating enough, but we don't need to overdo it too much. We just need to make sure that you're meeting the minimums we need to build muscle. For most people, that's going to be somewhere around the 0.8 to like 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So if you're in that range, and this would be daily, and then what I would do is cut that down by how many meals you're eating. And if we're doing a little eating window and you've got 3 meals, then you kind of know where to put that stuff in there. But as long as we're getting adequate protein, we don't need to overdo it like those big people do it. So just something to keep in mind. You need to keep the full context of your purpose in mind. And it's so easy to get excited about, oh, I got to start eating more, and I want to do this many calories. You got to look at the health effects of having that many calories consistently over time. Usually putting yourself on a slower slope is going to be much more sustainable long term, and you're going to get some great results from it. Hope this helps. Talk to y'all soon.